Thank you. Everyone has the right to belong. Let me say that one more time. Everyone has the right to belong. Now, I would like you to raise your hand if you believe that statement to be true. Don't be shy. A lot. I think everyone. Now, raise your hand if you believe this statement not to be true. I'm not going to judge. Nobody. Yeah, I expect that. When I first moved to the Netherlands 4.5 years ago, I said, you know what? I want to get to know the culture. I want to learn a little bit more. So I volunteered at the Red Cross shop in Breda, where I was living at the time. It was such a cool experience. I got to meet so many fun and local people that taught me so much. And one thing that I learned about myself was how I fragment things into boxes and how I label things so that it's a little bit easier for me to get to learn and understand. And yeah, we're taught that boxes and labels can be negative, but I actually use them in a positive way to really understand. And my boxes look like this. We had Anna Marie. She was about 40 years old, super sweet, super cuddly, a little spicy. Don't get on her bad side. And we had Henk. Chill, likes to drink some beer, a little racist, but overall pretty kind. And then I started thinking to myself, boxes, labels, what does that do to our society today? And how does that shape us and how we live and collaborate with each other? I really thought about the idea that as children in grade school, I don't know about you, but definitely for me, I was taught to put things into boxes, give it labels so that I could easily understand and learn. And I think everybody learned that. I see some heads nodding. And I can argue that the idea of labels and boxes doesn't actually have to be something negative. It doesn't have to be something that detriments our society. It can, however, lead to something very dangerous. And that is when we start to put the boxes into a pile that we say they do not deserve the rights that I do because of the labels they have. They do not belong because of the labels that they have. That's when it becomes dangerous. And I think, what if we started to look at those boxes and at those labels, instead of something dangerous with labels that say, do not touch, dangerous, as beautiful gifts ready to be opened so that we can learn a little bit more about ourselves, but most importantly, about others. What if we did that? And how would that change our society? As she mentioned, my name is Joey Jack, and I was born and raised in a small town in Texas. I don't recommend it. It's very, very, very west, and neighboring to that point is New Mexico, the state in the United States, and Mexico, the country. My father is Mexican. He was born and raised in Chihuahua, Mexico, and he emigrated to the United States for a better life. How amazing is that, right? To go somewhere and seek a better life for yourself, but also for your family. I find that such an honor. I remember him telling us as children that he really wanted for us to grow up in an environment that gave us the opportunity to be someone. And I find that remarkable. It was so interesting, though, growing up, because I felt American. However, the people around me had categorized me and put me in a box. Joey, the Mexican. Some people are laughing. It sounds a little bit like an insult, but I promise it's not. It's fact. Unfortunately, that box in the United States is not such a positive label, the Mexican. And I can tell you firsthand that being that, of course you get discriminated on. Go back to your own country. You don't belong here. You have an accent, but I was born and raised here, I thought to myself. How can that be? And I remember searching for the idea, I want to belong. And I don't feel like I belong. So we would go to Mexico to visit my family, and I thought, okay, this is it. This is where I belong. And they would say, well, you're American. Yeah. Well, you quite don't understand how we live here because you're born and raised in the United States. And that idea of not belonging, that idea of not having a place was really, that as a child felt ugly. I didn't like that feeling. And I think some of you in this audience understand that feeling and understand that it's not a very nice feeling to have. I wanted to belong. I graduated high school and I decided to chase my dream. I moved to New York City, the best city in the world. Amsterdam is first, and then it's New York. And I studied musical theater. I did it. I graduated. I was working as a musical theater performer in New York and throughout the United States, and I loved it. And I thought, you know what? I'm gonna find home. But even in New York, I was seen as Joey, the Texan who's Mexican. Oh, okay. So that idea that I'd been searching for to feel like I belong, it just didn't happen. Fortunately, though, that 80% of the people that I met in New York were super open to me and my colors and my boxes and my labels, and they actually thought it was cool, and it gave me an advantage. But 20% of the people that I met were a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit hesitant, and even apprehensive. Sometimes hearing, he should just go home. He's so different, he's so weird, he doesn't belong. All for factors that I couldn't change. And I remember thinking, that is such a weird idea. I am me, and just because of that, I am an outsider. I downloaded Tinder. If you're single, you should download it. It worked for me, and I know someone else that it worked for. So I swiped right on my boyfriend. His name is Nick. I met him in New York. He was doing his internship. We fell in love. It was amazing. I really felt that gush of energy when you meet someone new and you think, this is something. He gave me comfort. He gave me that feeling of belonging that I had been searching for. After a couple of months, his internship ended. Joey, I'm going back to the Netherlands. And I'm Googling, what is the Netherlands? I know. I was an American back then. I didn't know anything. And I was Googling, and I thought, okay, Amsterdam, the red light district. I was born and raised in Texas, very Christian, prostitutes. That doesn't go. But I thought, fierce. I love it. After about 1.5 years, we went back and forth, long distance. I loved the traveling, and I fell in love with the country. Yeah. He's like nodding. Yeah. It's an amazing country. I called Nick and I told him, you know what, Nick? I feel it. You're not moving to New York. I'm moving to the Netherlands. I was so excited. Europe, I thought. I'm moving to Europe. And all my friends were like, that's so cool. I was like, I know, Europe. I moved to the Netherlands and I remember thinking, I do not want to be an outsider. Joey, you've got one more shot. You're coming to the Netherlands and you're gonna make it home. You're gonna make it happen. And with that idea, I thought, can you imagine living in a world where the color of your skin, the blood that pumps through your veins, the God that you do or you do not believe in, the gender, sexual orientation didn't matter, where you could just belong. Everyone wanted that. We all raised our hands. Everyone has the right to belong. I thought, wow, I want that. Maybe you're thinking, because there are some people privileged enough to say, I don't really know what you're talking about. And if that's you, don't raise your hand. But you can count yourself very lucky. And I got an example to help you out with that. Kind of a minor example. You haven't been to the gym in a while. And you're like, I gotta go to the gym, but I don't really want to because it's a scary place. But you sign up and you're like, I'm going to the gym. And you walk in there, the door opens, and you just so happen to pick the busiest time, the busiest day. Everyone is at the gym, and they all turn and look at you. How do you feel? I want to go home. I don't want to be here. Now that's the feeling, and multiply it by 10. That is what people feel. Different colors, gender identity, sexual orientation. That is what they feel on a day-to-day basis. How was I going to change that for myself? Integration. Super easy. What is that? What I learned is that integration is two things. It doesn't have to be difficult. It is learning and respecting. That's it. It's not very difficult. Integration means that you are open to learn about the new environment, about the new culture, about the new food that you're going to experience. But not only are you going to learn about that, you're going to respect that. And respect doesn't mean that you always have to agree. Because I know some people are like, Respect doesn't mean that you have to always agree. But that is the fundamental link of integration. And so I did that. I said, I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn the language. So I started vlogging. I was like, you know what? I'm going to vlog this. This is fun. I live in Europe. Let's do something new. I started vlogging and talking in Dutch after like 6 months of living here. It wasn't cute. I'm now judging myself. But, when I did those vlogs, I thought, you are fierce, girl. Do it. I was like, I'm doing it. And I spoke it, and here we are. And then I said, you know what? I need Dutch friends. Because it was easy to get American friends. You can find them everywhere. We are everywhere. And I thought, I don't want that. I don't want to live in an American bubble in my new home. That doesn't coincide with belonging. So I found Dutch friends that were very open to me and my ideas and my origins. And we started talking, and I started asking them about the food. Well, we talked about the food. We started talking about the holidays, the celebrations, King's Day, Orange. And I really started learning, and through that process, I could feel myself. I am like Dutchifying myself. I'm doing it. I like it. Kroket, lekker. I feel it. And that was it. That was the solution. It was easy, I have to be honest. I am privileged to come from the United States because I can tell you that who I met, and from what I can understand, those people are more open to people that come from the United States as opposed to other parts of the world. So I acknowledge that privilege. Unfortunately, some don't have that. There was a moment that really changed my mindset on that, and that was the tram. First time getting on the tram. So I'm in Amsterdam, I'm holding my OV chip card, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm alone. There's all these people around, but you're not scared, Joey. So preface this, in New York, there's doors for the subway. When they open, you go in or you go out. You do it. Just go, go, go. In the Netherlands, no. We've got doors for going in, and we've got doors for going out. And there's always someone to remind you of the rules. So the doors open and I walk in. Mistake. Someone grabs me, a Dutchman. He pulls me back and he starts screaming at me in Dutch. So angry, but angry not about what I did. He was just an angry person. And he's speaking Dutch to me very fast in an accent that I've never heard. I don't know. And then I say, I'm sorry, I have no idea, don't touch me. And he starts to berate me about the fact that I cannot speak Dutch. And I felt broken. I thought, okay, no. I went home and I said to my boyfriend, I can't do it. The culture is too different. It's too cold. I'm not accepted. I don't feel it. I want to go home, wherever that is. I just want to go home. And through the conversation, something just clicked. Integration is a two-way street. It's not just my job. It's your job. It's not just my job to learn and respect. It's your job to learn and respect. And I know there's going to be people watching that say, well, why do you emigrate anyway? Stay home. And to that I say, our civilization is founded on immigration. You and me wouldn't be here if it wasn't for immigration. So you're not going to stop it. I'm not going to stop it. It's just a fact of life. So instead of making everybody miserable and fighting against it, that not only creates an environment that nobody wants, not even yourself, what if you switched it around? And that respect that you demand, you give. Such an easy concept. Like, I learned this when I was little. So that idea of giving what you're getting was for me what integration meant. 4.5 years later, I stand here, I speak Dutch, I sit at a table with my Dutch friends, eating Dutch food, stamppot. Ik vind het heerlijk. And I think it worked. I did it. I belong. I found it home. And it was because of the fact that I was open to learn and I was open to respecting. And not only that, but because I found a community of people that did that in return. Right? Not that man that pulled me out of the tram, but the people that said, and what about you? Who are you? Where do you come from? And the moral of the story is so simple. Respect. Right? Learn and respect. And everybody put their hands up. And I just want to ask for yourself, I'm going to end it. Are you doing your part? Or do your actions reflect the opposite of what you believe? Thank you.